systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Shipping Nation YouTube station? Back Monday, 7 games on tap. No Coors Field. I'm back with my main man, Matt. How we doing, brother? How was your weekend? Happy Monday. Excited to talk some bases with you here. Hopefully we see some offense. We got pretty condensed overall pitching, obviously from 3 big arms and then everybody else, and you got the Dodgers, right? So should be a fun slate to talk through here, but how was your weekend, man? Excited to be back talking baseball with you. What's up, brother?
Yeah, bro. Good weekend, man. Excited to get on here, talk some ball with you. Kind of a condensed Monday night slate, so we don't have a ton of games, but some really good spots to choose from. So excited to break it down with you. Pitching is pretty rough, aside from a couple guys up top, obviously, which are going to get a lot of ownership. Stack ownership seems pretty spread out outside of the Dodgers. Hard to get away from them, but obviously the ownership fade always in play in tournaments, and there's some other really good spots tonight. So I love Monday night slates. Things often play out a little bit weird on Monday, so I'm hoping for more of the same this evening.
Yeah, no, 7 games, kind of right in that sweet spot. I like the 6 to 8 games kind of window, just because there's enough games, right? If you don't have the guy that goes crazy, right? Like on those 3-4 game slates, right? If you don't have the 7-hole hitter that hits fucking 2 home runs, right, and scores 30 points, I mean, you're dead, right? In a 7-8 game slate, right, like we have tonight, you're not necessarily dead, right? Especially depending on ownership and that. Obviously, you'd love to have it there, but this is kind of the sweet spot here. Yeah, pitching, Cease, Fried, Yamamoto, and then everybody else. And then in terms of offense, it's Seattle just as a value because it allows you to get up there on those guys. Obviously the Dodgers and the Angels, right, are kind of the 3 teams that are getting ownership, 3 pitchers. So you know where everyone's going, right? Dry run. Once I share the screen here, I'll have it up in terms of projected score, right, and talking through it there. So yeah, great slate ahead. I think some big totals here. We got a cheaper pitcher that I have quite a bit of interest in as well to leverage some of that ownership on some of the Seattle bats that we're going to get to. So yeah, looking forward to talking bases here with you. We got our guy Wins a Lot in the chat, Philly Phantom, Juice, Jake Swales. What's up, Jake? DeWitt, Taco Todd, our guy Stoner. Overall, appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Going to pull our partner SaberSim up on the screen here. Got to navigate through the new StreamYard look here. So should see it here up on the screen. Matt, pitching 8K and above. We got Ranger Suarez up to Dylan Cease. Obviously talk on the main 3 up top, right? Cease, Fried, Yamamoto. Ownership gonna lead to Cease probably number 1, Yamamoto 2, Fried being number 3 in terms of how the field's gonna go. All 3 of them are gonna get played at a very, very heavy margin. Castillo's not going to get played. Jack Leiter is not going to get played. Suarez really not going to get played outside of maybe 10 to 12%, somewhere in there. So what do you see here from 8K and above in terms of pitching? Break it down.
Yeah, bro. I think that it's really those 3 guys and then everyone else. Like, you're talking about a rough pitching slate, but besides that, like the 3 guys that we're talking about here, and Cease, Yamamoto, and Fried, are all anywhere from like elite starting pitchers to elite DFS pitchers. Like Fried is a better pitcher than Cease. Fried is, for my money, one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's not quite as good of a DFS pitcher as Cease because of the strikeout equity you get with Cease. So you got both of them here, and then Yamamoto, who's a little bit cheaper than Fried, who for my money is my top option against the Marlins at home. The Marlins are frisky. I kind of like this lineup. but I'm not afraid to use a pitcher against them, especially a guy as talented as Yamamoto. Saw him really struggle early on last time out. Still finished with a quality start, a good start at that. He's just been phenomenal. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's about as consistent as it gets, and I see more of the same from him here. I think that Cease looks like the guy with the best upside because that's who he is. Also, probably, definitely for my money, the lowest floor between these three guys. He can get got by anyone. He's a guy that kind of gets in his own way at times. So you got a Boston team that frisky right now, fired their manager. It's won the last two, finally starting to see the ball well. I do think there are holes to poke in Cease, but his upside is real. So those two guys, and then Fried. You're paying for Fried here, and I think that's why he's going to be lower owned than the other two, but he's also wildly in play. He's just really, really good. And the Rangers don't scare me. They're not the worst lineup in baseball, but it's not a matchup I'm afraid to get to with a pitcher as talented as Fried. He is third on my list here, but I think he's also wildly in play. After that, honestly, like I listed a bunch on the slate plan. That's more for like tournaments. If you're playing a bunch of lineups, like those are the three guys. I think if you're playing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lineups that you're playing personally.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So yeah, I'll start up at the top. Cease is number 3 for me, behind the other two. Max Fried, I get it, right? Price feels crazy, but he is a ground ball guy. He does have strikeouts. Vegas isn't scared. His K prop is off the charts. I mean, 5.5 heavy juice to the over, which is obviously right at the 5.5 number behind Yamamoto and behind Dylan Cease, right? Dylan Cease, 7.5 K prop, best on the slate by far. Heavy juice on the over. Ownership's going to follow, right? Everyone knows Boston's not been great. But Dylan Cease, the issue I have and why I think, yes. Does he have upside? Yes. Is he great play? Yes. That's why the ownership's following. There's strikeouts in this Boston lineup. I get it. All things there. But of the three, I put him number 3 when considering ownership and considering the ability for Dylan Cease just to self-implode, right? With walks, things like that, right? Boston is getting a whole new revamp, right? Their whole staff is out of there pretty much. So don't love that. He's great. I think Fried and Yamamoto are slightly ahead for me. Yamamoto being number 1, just at that price point, 9,500. I'm not scared of his last outing where he got tagged around a little bit, still managed to claw his way back in there. Pretty good chance at a win here, right? Dodgers bats when we get there. We're going to talk about it. In terms of out props on the slate, Yamamoto's got an 18.5 out prop, which is up there. Same thing with Max Fried, 18.5 out prop. That's higher than that of Dylan Cease there, right? So my rankings of those three is probably Fried just with the strikeout upside, because if you take a look at this Texas lineup on the current year against left-handed pitching, I mean, they're at a 29% K rate against left-handed pitching, especially at home. They've been miserable. It's a good place to pitch. I think the Yankees bats are fairly interesting when we get to stacks wise, right? So I put Fried number 1 just because I think he's going to be the lowest owned. I think he has tons of strikeout upside here. He's not bulletproof by any means, but you can poke holes in Cease. Yamamoto, we just saw get some hiccups last start, but hard to really argue with all three of those guys up there. The other guy I think is fairly interesting above 8K, if you wanted to take a stab, would be Jack Leiter. The reason I say that is because, yes, the Yankees are a patient offense. Yes, they have a ton of power. However, they do have strikeouts in this lineup. Leiter has at least shown the ability to strike out guys. His K prop's 5.5, heavy juice to the over. Can it go south? Absolutely. Is there upside in tournaments, which we're chasing? Yes. So Leiter would be the 4th guy I would look at 8,300 with a guy where you can chase strikeouts, right? So that's kind of the guy I'm looking at. Not getting to Castillo outside of Seattle here. Don't like that. And then Ranger Suarez, don't really like that either. So for me, it's Fried, Yamamoto, Cease, Leiter, up above 8K are the 4 guys I'm kind of interested in. When we drop down below 8K, Matthew Boyd stands out. That's kind of the guy everyone wants to go to at 7,700 there. decent matchup. He's got the ballpark upgrade, obviously going out to San Diego. I don't know. He's got the pitch count. He's got the leash. San Diego is not the best lineup. I mean, we saw them fall on their face, 4 games in a row in Coors Field. They just don't strike out a ton. Matthew Boyd, I don't know. I think he's fine, but I'd rather take a shot on some of these other guys down here if I'm going down here that aren't going to get played. Connor Prelip looks good to me. I liked what I saw in his last start. Has been ripping up AAA. Pitch count is a little concerning, but he did get to 82 pitches his last time before they pulled him. Seattle, outside of Seattle, I mean, I'm not too afraid of that offense there. So I think Connor Prelip is pretty interesting at 6,700. Outside of that, I mean, Randy Vasquez probably on the other side of Matthew Boyd in that same ballpark. He's been good. What do you see down here as value arms on the slate?
Yeah, so I like Boyd here. Like his advanced numbers are really, really good. About a 39% strikeout rate to both sides. Like, I don't know. It's always tough facing this Padres team, but they're coming from Mexico. They just left Coors before that. Now you're getting them back at home. I might be in on Boyd at 7,700. I think he looks good here. I think your point, going back a little bit on Leiter makes a lot of sense too. Like he's the natural pivot off of the expensive guys because he has the strikeout upside to match the top guys. So I get that. And I also understand why you have Fried as your top choice given the matchup. Texas has been horrendous versus lefties. So I think all 3 top guys look really, really good. As far as the bargain shopping goes, Prelip, I think, is worth a look. He's so cheap. He's fully stretched out. Seattle hasn't been amazing versus lefties either. So I could get on board with him. I mentioned Boyd. Not much more than that. I'm going to keep my pitcher pool pretty tight here. I like all 3 top guys, and I like Boyd. I like the idea of some Leiter, and I like Prelip. I saw some Dustin May chatter in the chat. I'm good there. He's just not a guy I'm ever going to use. Randy Vasquez has been really good to start the season, but he's not cheap, and he's in a bad matchup. So I'd rather use Boyd at the same price tag, basically. Some decent options down here, but no one I'm like super excited about.
Yeah, I have a little bit more interest in Vasquez than Boyd personally in that same game, just at the ownership discount, exact same game. I mean, these guys are realistically a very similar pitching. I mean, matchups are pretty equal. You look at the Padres' current season against lefties, 20% K rate. You look at the Cubs on the current season against right-handed pitching, 21% K rate. You look at Vasquez over the last month, 30 days or so. I know it's limited sample there. 114 plate appearances. He's sitting at a 26% K rate. And 30% of that comes from the left side, right? So depending on how many lefties are in there, I'm assuming Bush will be in there. I'm assuming Happ will be in there. Ballesteros, PCA, those guys have strikeouts there. So that's why I slightly lean to Vasquez. But really it's the top 3, Leiter, Vasquez, and Boyd is what the pitching pool looks like. Prelip is kind of the guy I'm taking a stand on down low, though. So I'll have more Prelip than either Boyd or Suarez, but those are not Suarez, excuse me, Vasquez. So really 7 pitchers I'm kind of looking at on the slate. That feels, I mean, I won't fault anyone for kind of limiting that down to like 4 to 5, right? Cease, Fried, Yamamoto, those 3, and then take your pick between Boyd, Vasquez, Prelip, really, and Leiter, right? Pick 2 of those 4 and just kind of go condensed on there in terms of pitching. So any closing remarks for pitching before we jump over and talk hitting?
No, let's get into some bats. I think we see pitching for the most part pretty eye to eye with some leans a little bit differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump over here. Let me refresh the Stone. Share this tab. All right, we got the Stone here. Now my face is going to be nice and red because of this bright screen in front of me. First game on the slate, Cardinals, Pirates. Wilbur Dodo is going to make his debut, or he's the rookie's going to come in after. I think they're throwing a left-handed opener in Montgomery, I believe, something like that. I believe, yeah, Mason Montgomery. Cardinals, look fairly interesting here. So do the Pirates. I mean, the ballpark's not great. Cardinals bullpen is ass. Very, very bad. Sixth worst in baseball. You look on the other side, the Pirates bullpen, not much better, kind of middle of the road. 399 xFIP. Both of these pitchers, I think, are attackable. Dustin May, I mean, does he have flashes to be a good pitcher? Yeah. Has he shown it yet? No. Can he walk? Just give up a shit ton of power to lefties? Yes. O'Neill Cruz, Brandon Lowe, Reynolds, O'Hearn. I mean, the Pirates have lefties that can hit the damn baseball, right? I mean, and you got a bad bullpen. I think the Pirates are pretty interesting, but don't sleep in the Cardinals either. I think the lefty opener is going to scare some people off of these lefties like Weatherholt, Burleson, Gorman, those guys. But, I mean, you're going to get the bulk of the game against a righty coming in after the opener in there. And then, I mean, Pirates bullpen is nothing crazy. So I like offense in this one. What do you see here?
Yeah, I do too. I think both sides are wildly in play. Like Dustin May has been pretty good against righties so far this season. The lefties still get him. Pittsburgh's going to overload with lefties. Seems like a very trappy spot for May, so I can get on board with Pittsburgh and then St. Louis. And then for Pittsburgh, you also get the bad Cardinals bullpen, which has been really overused recently as well. So, yeah, I like Pittsburgh. I also like St. Louis. You get an unknown commodity in Wilbert Hotel. You get a better bullpen than St. Louis, but you know, their mediocre arms are still mediocre. So if you get out to a big lead here, you're not going to see the Pirates' best arms. I think both stacks have upsides in tournaments. St. Louis is pricey now, though, like way more pricey than they had been. Probably deservedly so, though. So I think both sides have upside in tournaments, and I don't expect either to get a whole bunch of love, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I lean the Pirate side, just with all the lefties there, and you get the added bullpen of the Cards there. But yeah, both sides are in play. You want the lefties for the Pirates. O'Neill Cruz, Brandon Lowe, O'Hearn are three of the better plays on the slate, in my opinion. Brian Reynolds, even Ozuna's been really good. I like this lineup that the Pirates threw out. You get Horwitz at a $2,700 value down there at first base. Nobody's going to play him, but when they're going to play guys like Freddie Freeman and Ohtani at that position there. So yeah, I lean the Pirate side. Cardinals get full 9 inning at bats. They're fine as well. Both offenses in this game, I'm definitely in on, but Pirates, I like a little bit more there than the Cardinal side. Next game on the slate here, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Dylan Cease, Ranger Suarez. Red Sox, outside of large field tournaments, I mean, you can pick some lefty power against Dylan Cease if you want to do. Wilyer Abreu stands out to me. Roman Anthony can always hit a home run. Abreu by far be my favorite kind of leverage guy at 4,200. Doesn't break the bank. He's been really good. He's a really good baseball player, really good hitter. That's an elite. If you go like instead of playing Cease, you play Yamamoto and you play Max Fried. Well, throwing a one-off or a two-man Red Sox stack, Wilyer Abreu and pick whoever else you want. Another lefty in there, Marcelo Mayer at second base, which is a weak position. You get a 4 and 6 in the order. Both lefties, both don't strike out really against right-handed pitching much, and it leverages Cease. And you got the other two spent up arms on the slate. I think that's interesting, but offensively, I don't really like this game on either sides. Lean more Red Sox side just in tournaments as mini stacks. Blue Jays, I never get this team right. Naturally, they'll probably go Okamoto and Vlad are fine, I think, is just lefty power hitters that you can get to. Okamoto would be my favorite at 3,600, just a value bat at third base, which is pretty weak in general. Max Muncy's going to soak up so much ownership there, so Okamoto I think is fine, but more one-offs or leverage mini stacks here. What do you see?
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the same exact page as you here. Boston makes a lot of sense as a leverage stack against Cease or using pieces if you're not playing him. Toronto, I don't know. Like they're in a better spot than Boston on paper because Suarez certainly isn't as good as Cease, but Suarez is also good and he's not getting ownership. So I don't know. Like I could see using some Toronto here. I don't think I'm personally going to get there. They've been pretty underwhelming to start the season. No Springer, takes out a big bat in their lineup, especially against lefties. I get your points about Cease and why you like the other two guys more. I'm personally still more likely to play Cease than stack Boston. I get it though. Like Cease, when he doesn't have his best stuff, puts guys on base, like he can get rocked. It will happen a few times this season. So I think there's merit in going to Boston to Cease's ownership, but that's really the only reason I'd have interest in them.
Yeah, it's just really Mayer at a weak second base position, and then Wilyer Abreu is by far my favorite play from this game, just because the dude mashes righties, doesn't really strike out. You get leverage. It's a value tag technically for spend up outfielder, if you will, in that 4K range. So yeah, he's by far my favorite play from this game in terms of offense would be Wilyer Abreu. But yeah, I'm not going to have a ton of Boston stacks. I'm not going to have really any Toronto outside of really one-offs. And I see our guy Kenny talking about when the offense in that last game, right? Wind blown in. Temperature, I mean, the weather on this slate is pretty ass all over the place. I mean, Chicago, you got 15 plus blown in. It's chances for storms out there. Really, the only good hitting environment really on this slate is Dodger Stadium. Maybe a little bit in Minnesota, but it's 50 degrees there, so the wind doesn't really offset the temperatures too much. So it's really Dodger Stadium, and then this game being indoors, right? The other games all pretty much suck. I mean, outside of Texas being inside, between the ballparks and the weather, I mean, there's not really an edge on this slate in terms of weather. It's all pretty equal in my opinion across the board. So that's where I take into account more bullpens. How crappy are the bullpens? How's the team doing? Can they get there without the long ball? So guys like O'Neal Cruz, right, with stolen bases, things like that is what I take more into account when it's a slate like this, where there's not glaring weather spots, right, where it's 80 plus degrees, wind blown out here, or 80 degrees, neutral wind, whatever. It's pretty equal from what I'm looking at across the slate. Next game, Angels, White Sox. Anthony K for the White Sox here. Jack Kochanowicz, ground ball guy, is not very good, but keeps the ball on the ground. Angels bullpen not good. White Sox bullpen not good. This is an offensive game for me, despite the weather. This is probably the biggest risk here as well in terms of weather on the slate. Roth has it tagged as yellow-orange right now. Going to have to monitor it if those storms, right? I'm getting storms here in Wisconsin. If it slides a little north, Roth said here, not going to be great for this game to play through, which would suck because I like offense in this one. But what do you see here? White Sox, Angels on the slate.
It's all offense here. You got two pitchers who, for lack of a better term, stink. I mean, Anthony K is not good. Jack Kochanowicz, also not good. Two offenses that are more than capable. The Angels certainly have big upside, power, and speed. The White Sox have had upside a bunch this year. I think, presuming this game plays, these two teams look like two of the better stacks on the board. Two top five stacks tonight. Two teams you think you can plant your flag on in tournaments? I don't think you have to play them. Obviously, there's the Dodgers, Mariners, Yankees, etc. But I think these two teams are right at the top of that list. Both sides. I don't personally want any pitching from this game. It's all about the offenses.
Yeah, I'm with you. Angels look really good. They mash lefties. Anthony K, not good. You look at him. I mean, 8% K rate against right-handed hitters. 14% walk rate, gives up a ton of power, a ton of fly balls. I mean, Peraza's been murdering left-handed pitching. Mike Trout, Adele, Soler, even Vaughn Grissom, cheap second baseman, Zach Neto. I mean, I love the Angel stack here. White Sox, I prefer the Angel side more just because I hate stacking against a ground ball guy like Kochanowicz, even though he's not a good pitcher. He does keep the ball on the ground. However, Benintendi, Vargas, Murakami, Antinosi, Montgomery, Peters, all five of those guys, or six of those guys, excuse me, all hit the ball in the air against right-handed pitching. So yeah, I'm in on offense. I lean the Angel side, but don't hate the White Sox side either. You look at the bullpen rankings. I mean, White Sox hitting fourth worst in baseball, Angels hitting third worst in baseball. So right there, I have natural more interest in this game, just because the bullpens suck. The weather, not great, but again, weather's pretty equal on the slate in all the games, right? So I'm looking at bullpens more, and both these bullpens are horrible. So I'm in on offense on this one. Lean the Angel side. Next game on the slate, we are going to go to Minnesota. Connor Prelip, Luis Castillo. Castillo outside of Seattle, not been great. Twins. I think the Twins are super sneaky here, and I'm buying on the Twins. I like this lineup that they threw out. Buxton being in there, leading off is nice. You got a cheap guy in Brooks Lee, who's a switch hitter, going to be pinch hit free for the most part in this game. Trevor Larnach, I mean, dude has tons of power against righties. I just think Castillo's declining. I think he has been declining for like 6 straight years. Give me some Twins in this one. I definitely like the Twins side a lot more than the Mariners side. I'm more in on Prelip as a value arm than playing any of these Mariners, but J-Rod is fine. Ref Schneider, if you want your 2 at-bats against a left-handed pitcher, he's fine at 2,700. He can definitely hit a home run, but J-Rod would be my favorite guy from this game if going to the Mariners, but I like the Twin stack quite a bit here. What do you see?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I feel like for me, it will depend on the Chicago, the White Sox Angels game if I actually get to the Twins here, because I like those 2 teams more. But if all of a sudden that game's out of play, both these teams become much more in play for me. Castillo is not good. You're right in that he's gone downhill every year in the past for what seems like the past 5 or 6. Used to be a stud. Just not that guy anymore, especially on the road. It's a good spot for the Twins. I like some other offenses more, but we saw your boy Brooks Lee leading off yesterday. If he's back up towards the top of the lineup, he hit a homer too. He's 2,300. He could become one of the best value plays on the slate. Buxton didn't play yesterday, so we'll see what their lineup looks like tonight. But yeah, I can get on board with the Twins. I could also get on board more so with the Mariners than I think you do, or than you can. Prelip, I get it. Like, he's definitely in play as probably the best cheap arm tonight, but he's still an unknown commodity. The Mariners aren't. Like, we know who they are and what their upside is if they get going. They also have been running lately. So I think I'm more in on Seattle than you are. I think you're a little bit higher on Minnesota than I am. But all in all, I also like offense in this game.
Yeah, I just think the Mariners are going to be super chalk. I mean, just looking at the dry run that I ran projections wise, I mean, 84% Seattle stacks, because what does it allow you to do if you 5-man Seattle? Well, it allows you to play 3 spend up Dodgers and spend up pitching. So that's what everybody wants to do on the slate. And I'll just go to the other side in the exact same park, the exact same hitting. I get the Twins bullpen is worse than the Mariners, but I think Castillo is a worse pitcher at this point than Prelip can be. At least, I mean, Castillo is declining. Prelip's just coming in, right? So, and you see, I mean, 84% combined ownership right now, projected wise on the Mariners. I'm fine selling on that and buying on the Twins, but by no means are the Mariners bad plays, right? I'm just with a condensed, shorter slate when I like the chalky pitchers. I need to get somewhere. I need to get different somewhere, right? And I just think you're going to see so many Mariners stacks because it allows you to do from a roster construction standpoint. Is that a bad thing? Maybe not, but it's just something that I'm looking to get different than there, just in terms of roster construction in general. And the Twin side of it, in terms of a stack, are right there, right? They allow me to do the same thing: 2,500, 3K, 4K, 3,100, 3,800, 2,800. I mean, they're the exact same kind of play here. So that's what I'm looking at. And Castillo against lefties, tons of fly balls, tons of power. Tons of power allowed. Not good against lefties.
Yeah.
Next game on the slate. Next game on the slate: Yankees, Rangers. Jack Leiter, Max Fried. This is pitching more so in this one for me. Yankees, I think, are a really, really high upside stack on this slate because they're going to be significantly lower owned than the Dodgers, and they have similar ceilings if they actually do it right with the power that the Yankees team has. There was a slate, last week or something, the Yankees were like 5% owned because of the weather, and they hit 4 or 5, 6 home runs, something like that. They always have that in their bag to the opportunity to hit a ton of home runs and get there. Texas bullpen, not great. Jack Leiter, up and down, not good. So Yankees are pretty interesting overall in terms of the stack. don't really want to mess with any Rangers. Not a spot where I'm going to go. If you wanted to buy into Josh Young and say the breakout's finally here, he mashes lefties, he'd be fine, but not something I'm too interested in here. I'm more on the Max Fried side than the Rangers.
I am a huge Josh Young guy, but not tonight. I like Fried over the Rangers here. The Yankees, though, they look good. This is a classic play both sides. Lighter in play because of his strikeout upside on a slate where we don't love pitching options, but the Yankees themselves, probably the only other team outside of the Dodgers that can match, or the only other team that can match the Dodgers upside on this slate. Jason Dominguez back in our lives, probably in the lineup tonight. He got called up yesterday. So, yeah, the lineup all of a sudden got a little bit deeper. We know he's a guy that has power and can run. So, yeah, I like the Yankees here. I mean, are they my favorite stack on the board? Probably not. But ownership considered, if you tell me that they're going to be lower owned than like the Dodgers and then teams like the Angels and the Mariners, give me the Yankees at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do have some slight concerns. The Rangers bullpen's not great, but it's rested. I mean, Quantrill's really going to be the only guy, and he's like the long reliever anyways. He's really going to be probably the only guy. Maybe Peyton Gray won't be available, but the rest of these guys are all pretty rested. So you're going to see a lot of platoon, a lot of splits, a lot of pitcher, lot of matchups, right, where it favors a pitcher more so. Obviously, the Yankees can always get there, but adding Dominguez is nice. He's super cheap. Austin Wells, 2,700, tons of power. He's a great catcher play on the slate. And yeah, I side with the Yankees more than I side with the Mariners at similar ownership. I mean, if you stack the Yankees outside of Judge and Rice, I mean, yeah, you want those guys, but you leave one of them off on your stack, and it's a super affordable stack. I mean, look at this team. Yeah, do you want to play Ryan McMahon? No, but he's 2,300 in the Yankees, and he's a lefty against Jack Leiter, right? So the Yankees, I like them. They're more affordable to stack up if you leave one of those big guys off. Feels gross stacking the Yankees and leaving one of Ben Rice or Aaron Judge off, but that's how you can get away with it. And obviously it opens up spend up pitching on the slate too. So I'm with you there. Josh Young, I think is fine to leave in your pool as a one-off, just because the dude does hit left-handed pitching really good. Huge prospect coming in. Maybe it's finally starting to click there, right? So I don't hate that. And it leverages some free ownership as well. That's what I look for in like a 5-2-1 build or a 4-3-1 build, something like that. I look for that one-off who has home run upside and potentially can help offset and bump my lineup above others when it's a chalkier pitcher that they're hitting against. Next game on the slate, Padres, Cubs, Matthew Boyd, Vasquez, two pitchers I think you can play. Ballpark sucks. Padres bullpen nails. Cubs, good offense. Vasquez could be smoke and mirrors. It's just I like offenses a lot more in other spots. I'm not getting to this one much. What do you see here?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, Vasquez might be smoke and mirrors. He did change some things around, and he just looks better this year than he has in the past. I don't think this is the spot I'm going to test it out, though. Like, in San Diego, just don't love this game for offense. I mean, there are good hitters all over this game, so I would leave them in my pool if I were playing 150. And it's a small enough slate where it wouldn't be like the craziest thing if either one of these offenses got there. But I don't know. I respect both pitchers enough and the ballpark, so I'm out on this game for offense.
Yeah, Laureano, I think it is decent, right? Just historically hits lefties really good. Boyd can get hit for some power at times, and you can still, I mean, maybe these guys, if they get a hold of them, they can hit it out of any park, right? So it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, I'm with you there. Not a great spot from offense in that one. Takes us to everybody's favorite spot on the slate. Dodgers going to be approaching like a Coors Field type ownership for good reason. Chris Paddock in our lives, fly ball, home run guy, not a good pitcher by any means, gives up a shit ton of power, always tons of home runs. You got the best offense in baseball in the Dodgers. Mariners or the Marlins bullpen, not good either. 10th worst in baseball, 4.42 xFIP. I mean, yeah, they have some good guys that have some strikeout ability in there, but I mean, it's all things going for the Dodgers here. Not much bad things to say. Don't really want to pick on Yamamoto. He's just a consistent, good pitcher, good real-life pitcher, good Dodgers bullpen. I think I'd rather leverage other stacks more than get to any of these Marlins. But what do you see here to round us out?
Yeah, I respect Yamamoto too much. Like the Marlins are pesky, but I'd rather stack the Red Sox if I'm going with a leverage stack. So that's how I feel there. The Dodgers, I mean, it's tough. Like they're clearly the top stack on the board. Paddock is not very good. Their offense is obviously amazing. Their lineup, I should say. But we're playing an ownership game, and they're going to be by far the highest owned with some other really good spots tonight. So I understand both sides of it. I think like pretty much always in spots like this, you can build plus EV lineups with them and without them. There are good places to go without using the Dodgers here and hoping that Paddock is just okay and, the Dodgers just don't hit home runs tonight. Or you can just go all in on the Dodgers and hope that it's the Dodgers and they do what they are going to often do this season. So really, I don't have like a strong take on whether you should play them or not. Just know the merits of whatever you do decide doing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think if I play the Dodgers, I'm not going to play them with the Mariners just because that's what projections say. That's what optimizers are going to spit out just because of those price tags on Seattle, right? They have
that's where if you're playing like some Boston, like the Dodgers.
Right, exactly. Good. I mean, so or pivot to the Twins on the other side of the Mariners game at the same price points, right? Against a guy who is trash against left-handed hitters, right? Especially outside of Seattle, right? That pitcher's ballpark there. So that's what I would look like. I mean, it doesn't take us to come on here and tell you to play the Dodgers. I mean, every show across the industry is going to be slurping the Dodgers. It's just from a roster construction standpoint, play the Dodgers differently, right? If the Dodgers do it, well, don't build your Dodgers teams the same as everyone else. Go to a different team besides Seattle or the cheap. I don't even want to say the Angels, right? Because the Angels, I mean, really aren't going to get played with them. Maybe Peraza and Grissom are going to get played with Dodger stacks, but I mean, it's really the Mariners because of the position eligibility, the cheap price points. I mean, Josh Naylor, 3,400. I mean, Crawford, 2,800. Garver, Cole Young, Rivas. These guys are just dirt cheap, and it allows you to get different there. I just looked at Dodger stacks in terms of projections on the dry run. 75% of the Dodger stacks had Seattle, right? So right there, that tells me if you play the Dodgers, just go to a different team like the Twins, like I talked about, and you're different there, right? So, yeah, Dodgers, great plays. Obviously, best stack on the board on paper. There is other good offenses, though, like the Yankees, right? We talked about. I like the Twins a lot. That White Sox-Angels game has upside. That Pirates-Cardinals game has upside, right? So there are other spots on a slate where there's probably not a lot of scoring, right, in terms of home runs and that, just with the weather, the temperatures, the ballparks. So, yeah, you could see if the Dodgers don't get there by the long ball, right, you could see these other teams, right, that have bad bullpens, offenses that kind of just play small ball, can get some stolen bases, things like that, get there in tournaments. Matt, it was all 7 games, right? We talked pitching, we talked hitting. Let's do the kind of end of the show summary here. Your favorite pitching combo, your favorite offense, and then a sneakier offense and a home run call if you have one.
Yeah, so I think my favorite offense is going to be we'll go with the Pirates. I like them a lot here. We'll say my sneaky offense is also the Pirates. I mean, I'm just going to be consistent there. Say they fit both categories there. And then home run call, I am going to go with I like the White Sox also if this game plays. So give me someone from the White Sox. Give me Miguel Vargas, 4,500.
I like that. I like that a lot. Your favorite pitching pairing.
Give me Fried and Yamamoto. I'm going to leave Cease out for now.
Fried and Yamamoto. I like that. I'm going to go Max Fried, and I'm going to go down the board, and I'm going to play Connor Prelip. Just as a flyer, right? Obviously, I'm going to have exposure to all 3 of those guys at the top. But for the sake of this, I'm going to go Prelip and Max Fried. Offense, I like the Twins a ton. They're my favorite kind of lower owned team on the board. So I'm going with the Twinkies quite a bit, and then I'm with you on the Pirates. I like the Pirates quite a bit as well. Angels will kind of be that third team that I'm looking at outside of the Dodgers. And then my home run call, I'm going to go to the Twins. I'm going to go to a lefty. I'm going to go to the 3 spot, Trevor Larnach. Not fully safe of pinch hit, but I like my chances to at least get 2 at-bats, even 1 at-bat. He could do it in 1 against Castillo. I'm going Trevor Larnach. 3-hole, home run, 3K. Like him a lot. Like the Twins. I'm doubling down on the Twins. Pitching, stacks, home run calls, all of it. So Twins don't do it. I'm getting shellacked here tonight, but that's the chances we play. Matt, any closing remarks before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I like you playing your flag. I'm Minnesota, though. I respect it.
Yeah, it's just a spot I'm going in on when offense is outside of the Dodgers, right? And some of the chalkier value guys fairly equal across the board, in my opinion. So I'll go with the team against a declining pitcher, in my opinion, in Castillo. So, no, appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. If you're not a member yet, head over to shipitnation.com. Hit join the nation right here, main screen. If you have access to the trial, get the trial, $19, 5 days, everything we offer. You see it there up on the screen. Just want MLB, single sport, MLB plus optimizer, $49 a month, 150 lineups, late swap, projections, ownership, stone, slate plans, everything we have to offer for MLB. We'll get you through the summer into the NFL season, which is right around the corner. NFL draft just wrapped up there. Best ball is going to be flying across the summer as well. But that's going to do it for the baseball breakdown here on today's 7-game slate. Should be a fun one for Matt. I'm Nades. Good luck tonight in those contests. We're going to see you next time. We're out here. Peace.